Scenes like this in one neighborhood where Salt Creek and Lake Maggiore meet are the reason the city is changing their temporary solution to a permanent one.
And you might even be able to see the discharge point down here.
This is the temporary pump the city installed years ago to mitigate flooding during intense storms when the old floodgates become overwhelmed between 28th Avenue South and Palanza Drive.
So it goes from one side and it goes around the dam and then discharges on this side. Decades ago, one of the original solutions to flooding was putting in the gate and the dam. But our weather patterns have changed and sea level has risen since then. So the conditions under which that was designed are no longer applicable to this area.
The pump's goal is to push water out of the lake through Salt Creek and into the bay at a much faster pace to prevent water from taking over.
We need to be able to allow that water to go downstream. So that pump helps us get the water downstream so that it won't rise so high to flood out the surrounding houses.
After a 1.5 year long process to get approved, the city now has the funding it needs for a permanent change.
We've been awarded about $20 million in Resilient Florida funds. A little more than half of that goes directly to this project.
It'll work similarly to this temporary pump, but will be installed farther downstream near Bartlett Park.
It'll look nicer than this, it'll sound nicer than this, and it'll allow us to really protect this area by having that pump closer to the bay.
The system already tested by Hurricane Idalia 2 weeks ago.
Right after Idalia, the mayor and I came out and did a tour of this area just to see how it had survived. We were still having a surge. We were still having high tide. The pump was able to pump the lake down over into the creek and let it flow out while preventing the creek from backing up into the lake.
It's infrastructure the city says could ultimately drive down the cost of insurance for neighbors in the area.
There's something called a community rating system, a CRS. And the better the CRS score you have indicates that the community is preparing itself for flooding. Therefore, the actual homeowners can see a reduction in their insurance rates.
The new project, less than a mile down the road, now the key to relief for this community.
Make sure that we can, not only for now, but in the future, continue to have this area drain well after a heavy storm or when we have a storm surge.
The city of St. Petersburg says they have about $3 billion worth of work to do on that infrastructure in their 20-year water plan. They say that they're still going to be applying for grants through the Florida Resilient Program in order to help meet that need. And in just 30 minutes, we're going to take you to another neighborhood here in South St. Pete in need of a critical resource.